Alright guys, I seen this video on my timeline, right? I hate Black Clover and here is why. Now, if you could see what's directly over my head over here, that's a Black Clover poster. Now, I'm not even gonna attempt to tell you that I might not see this video with bias. Black Clover is one of my favorite new gen animes. I understand all the flaws in Black Clover. I understand all the pluses in Black Clover. So if I go through this video and you start talking about some bullshit, I'm sorry in advance because this video might be an hour. Mahis, you better come correct, buddy.
I hate Black Clover with a fiery passion. There's never been a show that made me not angry, sad with how bad it is, and believe it or not, it has nothing to do with Asta speaking in caps lock, a rocky start, or 50 shades of everyone's face. I'm talking about the fundamental systems, stolen ideas, entire scene
Oh
sequence.
my goodness. You niggas with stolen ideas, buddy. Well, I can't wait for you to get into it, please.
That can be thrown away without affecting the result. Hell, go see the #1 reason why before you click off. I'll even give you the timestamps to make it easy. Hello, comrade. My name is Mahis.
I'm not clicking off nothing. We're watching this whole thing. I'm talking over every bullshit thing you say, my boy.
Come, get yourself a beverage and sit down with me. We got a long-awaited explanation incoming. Let me set the stage and tell you about my experience with this show. First time I watched it, I barely made it to episode 6 and stopped there.
Now, I'm gonna say this, right? Now, whether you believe this is true, this is one of my biggest hypotheses ever in anime. I've been saying this for so long. Whether it's true or not, this is what I believe. I believe if you sit down and binge watch a show, it is way harder to get through it than watching it as it goes ongoing. So there's things that people say that binge watch Black Clover, like, sometimes they talk about the pacings, certain things, but I'm someone who watched it weekly. So it came out every single week. I had to wait 7 days to watch the next episode of Black Clover. So maybe some of these pacing issues for me, I just don't see them. But when you're binge watching them, it's an issue. So there's a lot of things that I think that hurts Black Clover for because the beginning is so ass. But even though he said that that's not a problem, he said the rocky start is not what he's talking about here. I think like that is something that a lot of binge watchers that try to get into Black Clover, that's something they struggle with. But I could be wrong. Maybe that's just something that I made up and I won't give it up. I'm dying on a hill.
There. But then I thought to myself, it's a shonen, a big shonen, and I gave Black Clover a very fair second chance. 50 episodes, that's 5 arcs, which is about 13 hours if you trim all the openings/recaps.
Please don't tell me you're only 50 episodes in Black Clover. Do not tell me that. Please tell me you didn't just only watch 50 episodes of Black Clover and then drop a 27-minute video on it. That's like me watching the first arc of One Piece and dropping a video on why it's garbage.
And in case you were thinking I just skimmed through it, no, I was paying attention and tried to get invested into the story, the world, the characters. I did to a degree. Yeah, Asta was annoying, but he is good people. Sure, the plot is a bit generic, but he is good people. The magic system seems a bit cheesy, but you guessed it, it's still good people. However, very quickly, I've noticed that I'm being lied to. Something doesn't quite compute here. Take Luck, for example. He was introduced as this energetic dude, always ready to throw down, who had the nickname Smiling Battle Maniac for reasons of loving to go solo and winning fights. Well, about that, not only did he flop the very first battle we saw him in, he hasn't done anything significant in the next several fights, with the exception of one fish priest who he defeated off fucking screen. Come on, man. If you hype up a character like that, the least you can do is show it the side.
I mean, bro, the show is 100-something episodes long. I mean, of course, he doesn't win every single fight, bro. He is a side character. Why are you so hung up on a side character in the show? Like, and he's not even like a main side character either. He's like one of the, he literally gets like one of the least amount of screen time in the whole Black Bulls. The nigga's up there with Gray. Gotta be.
Decisive W for once. Against Lotus, Asta did all the heavy lifting. The other priest was given a dose of despair, and the grumpy orange Hank himself suffered no damage at all from Lux and Magna's duo. Where is this smiling battle maniac I heard so much about? In approximately the same area as a bunch of scenes that are redundant or have no impact whatsoever. We all know of the legend of the first Wizard King. That's fine, what if we imbeciles forget about that irrelevant piece of lore and can't put it together when something new is revealed? I mean, two things. Constant reinforcement of character archetypes or plot points, and entire sequences that mean nothing. I hate when I'm treated like a 4-year-old who has to be reminded that Noelle is royalty every other sentence she speaks.
Bro, that's just her character. It's okay not to like her because she reminds you that. That's just her character. That's Noelle. Just say you don't like Noelle.
That RMC wants to marry Sister Lily, or that you all need some despair, hate, whatever in your life. Seriously, if I was to take a half shot every time I hear a character mentioning their gimmick, I'd be fucking dead, and that's coming from a Russian. No one in the target audience, 10 plus usually, needs to be reminded this much as it flans the character.
It's crazy how you name 3 characters out of a cast of like at least 50 plus characters that we've been introduced to. And that's a crazy understatement. There's like 100 characters that have been fleshed out where I'm at Black Clover. You name 3 characters. Like that is not a big thing in Black Clover.
To the point where they just associate with one single word and seem to have nothing else going on. Same thing with a lot of scenes in the show where people either do nothing and watch things happen, or their actions have no impact on the outcome of the situation. Let's look at the Despair guy since I've mentioned him. Who won that fight? Black Bulls obviously, but who really contributed to Veto's defeat? Here's the breakdown of the fight. Mr. Smiles engages Luck and Magna. They pretend to have a main character moment but fail miserably, after which Asta comes in to save the day as usual. Backed by his new dancing buddy, they try to show the villain some moves only to be dicked on too and needing to be saved by another duo, Kahano and Noelle. You'd think that something will change, but no, their cheeks are clapped just as hard if not harder than the others. Granted, Her Royal Majesty also attempted the Fable main character moment and at least got this boss to its second fate.
So like what are we not getting here? Dude, can you not understand that this nigga is strong? He folded up the damn near half of the Black Bulls and two characters that we just got introduced to. Like, how does that not mean anything to you? What am I not understanding here? This is the show portraying how strong he is.
So, props to her, I guess. Next, Asta realizes that too many people have tried to claim his role in the show and jumps in to protect his teammate moments after laying motionless on the floor. He delivers a motivational speech inspiring his allies, so another duo jumps into the fray. Blah blah blah, 3 more people, they distract, the show remembers that Asta is wielding a fucking sword, not a club, and with a bit of early celebration, a true main character has a moment, followed by Veto's quick defeat. But it's not over, since he's about to yell Licht is great and turn the Seabed Temple into just Seabed. So, Yami, who was previously stuck with no way out, pushes past his limits and saves the day, this time for good. What the fuck?
What about that was not... I can see why you don't like the show. A basic plot and you're confused. You need to wrap up anime, buddy. I mean, like, I don't understand what you just got confused about. That was the most shonen plot I ever heard in my life. That was literally the most shonen plot I ever heard. What was confusing about that? Like, you're losing me. I'm trying to understand your point, and now I'm lost. Because now your point makes no fucking sense. Please tell me you got something. You're about to say something here that's going to make sense. Please.
You mean to tell me that he had it in him this whole time? This show just...
Oh my goodness. Oh my god. He is on a mission to delete our brain cells. This is what he's trying to do. No way you watch this show. No way you watch this nigga have a monologue how he's stuck. He needs to push past his limits. And that's what he did. What do you mean he had it in him his whole time? What are you talking about?
Basically took all the stakes it had set up and threw them out the window, upsetting not only Guga, but me too.
How did he throw the stakes out the window? Nigga, all of them are about to die. We all think that this fight is over. Veto resurrects. He's about to he's about to self-destruct. Asta can't do nothing about it. Nigga, the stakes are as high as they ever were. And then our captain, that we have not been demonstrated what he can do, comes up and he tells you, hey, when your back is against the wall, dig deep. Push past the limits push past your limits. And what does he do? What does he do? He single-handedly claps this nigga by himself. And first of all, didn't they go down there for like a mission or something, like an exam? They went down and they were examining them. He was watching the whole time to see their progress or something like that, to see how well they would do. So why is it shocking that he came to save them niggas? That it was not shocking at all. Like, you're losing me, bro. You're losing me.
Okay. In order to go plus ultra, you're required to feel some type of way. So they all needed to lose in order for the captain to go beyond. Yet that would have been the same if they all just dropped without all this extracurricular action. If I somehow going through some mental...
Bro, it is a shonen anime. I don't understand. You want all of them to go, you want all of them to fight this nigga in 2 seconds, all of them get folded up. You want Yami to come and save the day, and now the show is 45 seconds. That's basically what you want. Bro, you signed up for shonen anime. This is what's gonna happen. Nigga, go watch Naruto. The same things happen in Naruto. Nigga, go watch Dragon Ball, where we got fucking 3-hour fights. The same thing happens. This is the genre of the anime we're watching.
Gymnastics that would make Inosuke proud can't justify everyone's involvement. Lux and Magna's section, which is about 13 minutes of screen time, can be just cut from the show without any loss.
Bro, do you understand that this is the first time we get to see anybody fight anybody major? Most of this is a reveal of people's powers, so we can understand what they do and how strong they are. Like, what are we talking
Losses
about?
At all. It won't affect the fight whatsoever. Maybe that was the point, to show that this is indeed a mighty foe that will push our squad to the limit, but we already know that. This guy was supposed...
So why are you surprised when he does it? Why are you surprised when he does it? That's like when Madara came down to fight the whole army. We know he's about to fold everybody up. So why would you be surprised when he folds everybody up? Are you telling me it's pointless that they showed him folding everybody up? Bro, you're something different. You are actually something different. You are 0 for 1. Please. You got 22 more minutes to make a singular valid point. Because this one, this is something different.
Posing a challenge even for captains in the last arc, so all it did was further prove that these two aren't shit in the grand scheme of things, and that the victory is achieved by some ass-pull bullshit. Yes, the whole power system is built on plot convenient power-ups, and
oh my god. Oh my goodness, it's like you never seen a shonen anime ever. You can say that. I can say that about Naruto. I can say that about Jujutsu Kaisen. I can say that about goddamn any fucking shonen anime ever. That's what happens. People lose. People get power-ups that win them fights. That is a shonen thing. For the 18th time. If you don't like shonen, complain about the genre. Why are you complaining about an anime that's in the genre doing what the genre does? Like, you're losing me.
The main reason for why I dislike it, it invalidates hard work and training as a whole. You can say, my history.
So you don't like shonen anime. That's basically what you're telling me.
You dimwit. If Noelle didn't practice her waterbending, she would have never unlocked this spell in her book. Let me draw a parallel that even people from Freedom Land can understand. If you're experienced with AR-15 and suddenly need to go against an armored target, AP rounds don't magically appear in your magazine regardless of how dire the situation is. You need to bring them to use them. And what characters in Black Clover do is carry a bunch of locked spells in their grimoire that need to be purchased with their desire to persevere when the plot demands it, like a bunch of DLCs, which...
I mean, it's like, bro. Oh my goodness. This is like saying in Naruto, right? Everyone walks around with a bunch of jutsus in their bag that they don't know until they take the time to go learn it. You see how stupid you sound?
Which, on the side note, is even worse, because if you roll the grimoire with only one page, no amount of character development will help you. Look at some other shonens. Sure, they do have moments like that, cause it's cool for fuck's sake. But Naruto had to grind like a motherfucker to get
So oh my goodness. So you're telling me Asta doesn't have a training arc in the whole show? You're saying you literally just said Noelle had a training arc, right? So your problem with it is because you didn't see Yami have a training arc, because he just because when his back was up against the wall, he surpassed his limits. That's your problem. He's the only character in that whole arc that did something like that. So now you're criticizing the whole show about this system, when at this point, the only thing that you indicated, only one person has done something like that.
Rasengan
not a
and to
valid
upgrade
reason.
it into Rasen Shuriken. Not only did it not work the first time, he had to spend even more time making it safe to use.
Please don't bring up one example of Naruto doing what you're trying to prove, because I can bring up 10 examples of Naruto disproving you. You know how many times he just randomly got Nine Tails power to help him get carried in a fight, buddy? Do you know how many times that happened? Please. Do not do this. This is not a fight that you want.
Here, some ungodly time-stopping power, perfect for the occasion, the user, and the exact location of the event. Yeah, no problem, not even a downside to it. How am I supposed to feel any danger for our squad if at any point somebody can discover a spell that will save the day? Yami, my favorite character in the show, was quite unsure of how to deal with Patoli's AoE attack just a dozen episodes ago, and now he can suddenly slash dimensions in half several times in a row with very little effort. There is simply no satisfaction here, and it's only half the problem, because to my knowledge, Asta hasn't lost a single fight. Like, legit. Every time there is some assistance, pushing past his limits, or flat out divine intervention.
Oh my goodness, this is just sad. This is just sad, bro.
Think about it. This newbie schmuck, who just joined the ranks and went on a single quest, who is wielding some weird sword that goes bonk, and who has no experience nor knowledge about...
First of all, it's not a weird sword. It's literally a sword that cancels out magic, which is literally the most... We're literally in a magic show. He literally has the ultimate counter in the show, buddy. Come on. Like, why are we surprised that he doesn't win his fights?
How to traverse hostile magical terrain is sent to investigate a new dungeon on a border of an enemy kingdom. I'm sure Julius knows what he is doing, but on top of all this, Asta was the literal key to the magic door that held a huge upgrade for Yuno and the second out of 3 anti-magic swords that was located behind a damn wall. Again, I have nothing against the at the right place at the right time trope, since it's a good way to set up interesting plot points and character progression. But when the whole show is based on that, it defeats the purpose of said progression.
Oh my god. This is the second time you brought up a singular moment and tried to prove your whole point off of it. Bro, you gotta stop doing that, bro. The whole anime is not at the right time, at the right moment. That's not what the whole anime is, buddy. Like, what are we talking about?
How would you feel if Ichigo just randomly popped his Bankai in the middle of the battle without any prior...
Do you see my hat? Do you see my hat? Do not want me to Google search some of the moments this nigga has had? Do I need to talk about Ukiura and how on Ichigo's deathbed he just randomly gets a fucking hollow power up and starts bodying Ukiura? Do I need to talk about that? No, I'm pretty sure I don't. It's literally one of the most common things people talk about when we talk about bullshit power ups. Please, you are not helping your argument. This is just a shonen thing. Just accept it. Every shonen is gonna do it. You're gonna watch JJK and JJK is gonna do it. I promise you, it's gonna happen. It's just a shonen thing. It's something that happens in shonens. It's called making the character get stronger, because stronger enemies are gonna come in the show. We can't have a training arc every time a stronger character comes to the show. It's just gonna make the story predictable.
Training, everybody would have lost their mind, cause even the 3-day express course was already pushing the Aspool boundaries. Give me something specific to look for so there can be a satisfying payoff when it happens. Look at what Demon Slayer did recently. Tanjiro was in a pinch, couldn't perform his usual routine, and decided to give thunder breathing a shot. It's a totally awesome concept where you can...
Yeah, it's a concept, and let me break this down to you. It's a concept that we don't even know exists in the show. Has anyone said before that you can use different breathing? The only person that we know who does it is Tanjiro himself. He's the only person that we know that uses different breathing. So by your logic, Tanjiro is on some bullshit himself.
Think of it as a natural progression of Slayer's training. Master one style, then Uncle Iroh the rest.
Yeah, but is in the show, are people doing that? No, Tanjiro is the only motherfucker in his show doing that. That's my point.
With no prior build-up or any indication that it's something commonly done, it came out as another Tanjiro Mary Sue moment and viewers were rightfully pissed about it.
Okay.
Speaking of Mary Sue, I've already mentioned Asta not losing a single fight, but did you notice that he is literally a plug for every hole? Anywhere he goes, he's a perfect solution for whatever problem.
Oh my goodness. Once again, he has the ultimate counter to his universe. He literally nullifies magic. Now imagine this. You're in a universe where you are the ultimate counter to everyday life. Of course you're going to be the ultimate plug for almost any situation. Come on now.
Granted, his power is quite unique, and in the world where everything is magical in some capacity, it makes sense that an ability to cancel...
It's like, I don't understand why you complain about it and then you say exactly what makes your point stupid. I don't care what you say after this, it is not going to help you.
It would be rather useful. However, do we really need him to have an answer for every single struggle? He stopped Noel's attempt to flood the area, avenged Magna's friend, did all the dungeon things we discussed, bonked the memory-altering magic out of the captives, did the same to the poor kids, accidentally unsealed Patoli's magic stash, penetrated the water barrier. The list goes on, and it seems like the only people who ever do something important are Asta, Yuno, and those captain level or above.
Oh my goodness. Is that shocking? That the captains are the main two characters and the captains are doing all the important stuff. Wow. I don't know how that's shocking. You're telling me the two main characters and everyone stronger than the two main characters are doing all the important stuff in the show. It kind of sounds like it makes sense.
What's the point of developing all these characters? Quite decent.
So they can get stronger in the future? The story's not over, buddy. Do you think they're not going to have their time to shine? Do you think they're not going to get their moment?
So that they help during some encounters? I always felt like none of the good guys are moving the plot forward except for the MC, of course. Yet, at the same time, nobody's acknowledging how abnormal this guy is, not trying to investigate his abilities.
What? Yeah, bro, oh my goodness. No one is not acknowledging how abnormal Asta is? Nigga, that is literally one of the main talking points of the show.
has a 5-leaf clover grimoire. Something has never happened from what these people understand, and he wields anti-magic while being magicless himself. What the fuck are you all doing? There is a literal miracle walking around, and not even the dude who examined his floating book does anything about it. Oh, I don't know, let people in the capital look at it. Are you shitting me? That's akin to Einstein holding an antimatter container and passing it to someone else because he has no idea what it is. It won't happen. Every scholar worth their salt would line up just to get a chance to see a 5-leaf clover. How come Sally is the only one to do so? Sure, maybe they don't see the clover itself because it's so dirty, but anti-magic? In a world where everything is all about magic, you definitely want to investigate such a phenomenon. Oh, and about that, we see people using mana left, right, and center, but as soon as something happens, only the magic knights are taking part in the action.
Oh my goodness. Let me compare something to. Let me give you a comparison real quick, because you made another dumb point, which I'm not surprised. This is like saying in My Hero Academia, right? A lot of people get quirks. An everyday person can have a quirk, right? But if their quirk is no good to the situation, do we ever see them using it? If these everyday people can do basic magic, what is that going to help them against the people that they're fighting? How is that going to help them? Magic Knights are literally getting folded up. How is this everyday person going to do something against these people that they're fighting?
Where are the regular guards with at least a fireball or something? Oh, you mean to tell me that if you can light up a stove, you can't do that to a zombie? Seriously?
These are the same zombies that are folding people up. These are the same people that are insulting the capital, folding up Magic Knights.
During the assault of the royal capital, the city where magic is everything, people weren't even trying to use magic when shit hit the fan. I'm not expecting them to solo all the villains, but if some peasant kids can do this, the adults should be able to at least slow down, barricade, or otherwise impair these
No way you just...
The adults should be able to at least slow down, barricade, or otherwise...
Did you not just show what you're trying to prove? Did you not just show what you're trying to prove? Is that not random people in the world using random ass power? Is that not what they're doing? Or am I missing something
these shambling
again?
sacks of necromancy. Does the show forget its own rules? This ain't fairy tale. Everyone is able to use magic. Piss off enough people and the sheer quantity of spells you'll have to deal with will be quite troublesome. And don't give me this crap about they're scared, they're not prepared, and so on. These are superhumans who have tools at the tip of their finger.
Oh my goodness. No way you just... Nigga, these are regular humans. They're in a world where everyone can use magic. Oh my god. You might be the most brain dead person I've ever come across in my life. This is a world where everyone has magic. You just said it yourself. These people use their magic with everyday tasks. They're not trained to fight with it. Of course these niggas would be scared if they got to fight with something that they never had to fight before in their life. This is their everyday thing, bro. This is not... They probably don't know how strong the magic is that they have. They probably never even tried.
Figures that we can only dream of, which they have used.
And we only dream of it because it's a world that we don't live in, buddy.
Their entire life. So, instead of fight or flight response, they will have magic fight or magic flight. Which is rather interesting because I don't see anyone using magic to escape either. Again, something just doesn't add up.
Oh my goodness, this is literally some of the most brain dead argument I'm ever hearing. This is hurting my brain.
Now, it's time to quickly mention the production value of the anime. Manga is fine, I've read it a bit and this section barely applies to it. Nevertheless, visuals are an essential part of viewing experience and we can't completely ignore them. In the beginning, I've said that I will not talk about characters sometimes being drawn like they belong in Mob Psycho, so I won't. Instead, we shall tackle this show's animation as a whole. It's a clusterfuck. I'm sorry if you're saying that this anime is drawn well, you need to check your eyes. I'm seriously concerned about their health, because
I mean, it's it's typical animation. The first 50 episodes of the anime, which everyone, any Black Clover person can come to the understand, man, is that it has its problems in the beginning. But later down the line, and I can give you the reasoning. If you don't know, you don't know. Studio Period was producing Boruto and Black Clover at the same time. And once they seen that Boruto wasn't getting once they seen that Black Clover was doing better than Boruto, they then shifted their attention to Black Clover. So then it started to get better animation wise. So this is just, it was just a rough draw for Black Clover. That's all it really is. It's not really anything to talk about. Anyone who knows about Black Clover knows that it struggles with the animation at the beginning. First 50 episodes. Around there. I don't know exactly when it gets better, but it gets better.
Because it's borderline impressive how inconsistent and ugly this show looks. And don't you put your hands on the keyboard yet, since you probably don't realize one thing. Black Clover is one of the most expensive animes on the planet, with the lowest cost per episode I can find being $100,000 and the average cost looking to be about $140k. This over here was made with an average budget, which is about 80 grand an episode. I understand that these numbers don't represent the whole picture. There are many other things that go into making an anime: staffing, script writing, voice acting, etc, etc. But, as much as I don't want to say it, in this particular case, it feels like whoever animated all this had no love for the show at all.
So when you're talking about this, I want to see some clips in the later half of Black Clover. I don't want to see you keep using clips that happened in the first 50 episodes of Black Clover. Please do that, and then I can't even argue with you. But if you just keep showing me shit that happens in the first 50 episodes, it makes me realize your argument is fucking retarded, buddy. We already know that they didn't have the budget that you just said. They didn't have that budget when they first started off with Black Clover. That's after.
I'm partially correct, since it seems like they had great troubles with lack of staff and had to outsource a bunch of their work.
Okay.
Still, I can't believe this is the same studio that gave us OG Naruto, Shippuden, Bleach. You'd think that they know a thing or two about making a shonen. Let's look at some examples. Patoli vs Yami. The first half of their battle was a slow-paced slideshow of gifs in comparison to the next episode, which brought a bunch of dynamic movement, nice camera work, and frames. See for yourself.
I'm not even gonna say nothing. Let's just see if he uses something past episode 50.
If episode 35 looks like it has been produced by an experienced anime studio, episode 34 next to it looks like it was made by a single student in between classes using some trial version of the editing app. Because what in the name of Adobe After Effects is this? I know it's a different episode, but I swear I've seen these exact particles in Mortal Kombat 1995. Then there are plain animation errors that shouldn't get past quality control, like with Asta over here, or Magna's glasses in this case. I haven't edited it. There are timestamps of these exact moments, you're welcome to check. It's simply disrespectful towards the audience. Can you imagine My Hero Aka, Demon Slayer, or Jujutsu Kaisen fucking up like that?
We don't want you in the Black Clover fan base. It's that simple. We don't want you here. Everyone that is tapped into Black Clover, we already know about what was going on in the first 50 episodes of Black Clover. We're not surprised. That's why when you pulled up this argument, how quickly did I rebuttal it? We know that the first 50 episodes are complete dog water when it comes to animation. No one says it's not. But if that's a reason for you to hate the show when you know it's going to get better, and you clearly know it's going to get better because you didn't use a single scene past what I told you to use, because I already knew I was fucking right.
Well, you don't have to, because there is a recent precedent with MAPPA and JJK specifically. I won't go into details as, even though my heart does go out to their employees, this topic is outside my area of expertise, so let me focus on what is. Animation. Obviously there is a difference, it looks raw and less polished, but the art style is consistent, emotions are properly displayed, and the action is still bombastic. If anything, I got a bit of a One Piece vibe with all these free-flowing lines giving the show a more artsy look. Although, I got to admit, I do see a lot of cutting corners in the form of static images, almost sketch-like sequences, and aspect ratio changes, which is actually a smart move that does save some effort and surprisingly makes these moments appear very cinematic. It's clear that there was a struggle during the production process. However, the love, the sweat, the tears are still present, and as a result,
Yeah, you want to know the difference? You want to know another difference? You're comparing a show. You're comparing an anime that's seasonal to one that was ongoing. That's what you're doing. You're comparing one studio being short-staffed, a seasonal short-staff, to an ongoing short-staff anime. That's what you're doing. Black Clover also has little to no filler. So there was no filler for them to have time to draw it. This is something that Black Clover people know. This is no surprise. Like I said already, this is just a bad point. You're trying to use it to your advantage, but we already know this. Anybody who's tapped into Black Clover already knows this. This is just a bad reason to hate Black Clover. It's not good. But I mean, if that's what you want to hang on to, that's what you want to hang on with, bro. Good for you, man.
It's beautiful because the core of the animation is. Black Clover, on the other hand, it doesn't have one. It's a constant fluctuation of quality, style, questionable design choices. Like, why is there a pixelated wave of shit in the middle of a fight? It doesn't match the color scheme of anything else and is completely out of place. Then there is 3D that looks worse than the Dark Young, movement with no force behind it, along with frequent recycling of shots, which should never happen. Another thing that should never happen is stealing ideas, aka plagiarizing. I've completed a university program and I'm well aware of what paraphrasing plagiarism is. It's when you use someone else's writing with some minor changes and present it as your own. Yeah, you can sue Black Clover over it, but you also can't deny that it took excessive inspiration from other shonen. For example, the first episode is Naruto in a nutshell. Everyone passes the selection process, MC doesn't, so he has to go through some shenanigans with a bad guy to unlock the whatever ability he will use every chance he gets, while saving an important...
Oh my god. It's not even, they're not even close to the same. It's really not even close. It's really not. Maybe the beginning where they both fail. But you know how many shonen action anime start off exactly the same? Like, this is just another bad attempt. Just a bad attempt. Maybe you got another one. Give me another one, man.
Person in the process who says that they've always believed in our boy. Out of all the shonen I can think of, these are the only two first episodes that share so many similarities.
No, please. Please, you do not want to do this. You do not want to do this, bro. You do not want to do that. Do not say that.
And if you're saying, well, it's an homage, these stories go in totally separate directions, maybe later, because Asta's first mission happens in a village held hostage by a bad guy who killed the hero of said village. There is a bridge, there is mist, there are ice users, and there's even a grave overlooking the area at the very end. You can't make this shit up. Well, one show did and the other Sharingan did. But wait, there is more. Let me introduce you to Gaara of the Ice, an emotionless war machine from another country who was bred to be an ultimate weapon from birth, who killed a person they held dear, who can use his abilities while standing still, who can pilot an elemental mecha, who has a change of heart after the defeat, and who makes people around them surprised that they can say thank you. Are you for real? Ain't nothing wrong with taking an idea, giving it an interesting spin, and putting it in your story. Jujutsu Kaisen does that occasionally with, let's say, their version of Ido Tensei. Both spells require a piece of whoever you resurrect, both take over a live human, and both carry certain risks like a person overpowering the jutsu. They even did the same find inner peace and fuck off back to afterlife type thing. Sure, it's not a completely original idea, but it's implemented in a creative way with the little spin I was mentioning. That's the Black Clover's problem. They blatantly take ideas from other shows and don't improve them whatsoever. Black Bull's HQ is practically Fairy Tail Guild. Black Market is a less protected Diagon Alley. Combo Attack is literally a unison raid.
Bro, come on, bro. You know how many you know how many anime I can go into and find any particular moment and compare it to something else? That's all you're doing is nitpicking stuff for Black Clover and finding comparisons. That's all you're doing.
Even looks the same. Then there is the cast. Main duo is a blend of many cliches, but they remind me of Hinata and Kageyama, followed by, in no particular order, Kana Alberona, Hinata Senju, Tsundere.
You see how you're going to all these different anime, drawing all these different comparisons? I can go into JJK and compare the whole cast to a different character in anime. You're just reaching, bro. You're reaching for the stars.
Either Byakuya Hitsugai's love child, Ban and Meliodas' love child, typical high school delinquent, Marilyn fucking Manson, Tinker Bell, None from the Ripoff Church, Kenpachi on weed, Hanji on crack, Zeno on ecstasy, Ulquiorra on meth, Clover on ghoul, Necromancer Natora, Naruto the Wizard King, another totally competent king, 100% bad guy, 80% bad guy. Alright, I agree, I got carried away there, but that's all to cope with the situation, since we're about to get what frustrates me the most about this anime and why I even made this pitch, which is turning out to be one of my longest videos to date. The number one reason that causes depletion of all serotonin, norepinephrine and dopamine in my nervous system is that this show can be fucking good! You've heard that right. This piece of crap has everything to be a good shonen and they even showed it to me, but then they spat in my face by diminishing the entire thing to an annoying amalgamation of tropes, borrowed ideas, cheesy systems, none of which bring anything new to the table, nor do they execute any of them well. Not to mention the most abhorrent animation I've seen in all my 20 years of watching anime. You can't show me a cool magical world, ambitious underdog, instant rivalry setup, fantastic soundtrack, epic power-up, good fucking animation in the first episode, and then make me watch this? Let me tell you what's so good about this story, starting with harsh topics that...
Bro, we don't want to hear it, because we already know what's good about Black Clover. We already know. We don't need to hear it from you. We've been locked in from the first arc. Yes, we had our bumpy roads. Yes, things weren't perfect, but we're here now. Things have been way better.
It covers. Immediately we get racism, classism, and other forms of discrimination based solely on what people can't really control. Magic. What was given to you, you'll have to deal with, and you'll be judged along the way. Even if you get the best shit, you won't be praised by everyone. You'll be pressed, because others don't like it when their position of power or authority is threatened by an up-and-coming prodigy. As a result of that, there is a huge disparity in the society. Those who have great magic look down on those who don't, and RMC being completely magicless presents another level of challenge that most other stories simply don't have. Yusuke, Ichigo, Luffy, even Deku all get that magical attribute, while Asta doubles down on his magiclessness and gets a tool to bring others to his level. This is an incredible setup, and a way more compelling argument for being feared, hated, discriminated against than that of Naruto, for example. After all, nobody knows how this is possible, or those who do know that it comes from devils. Either way, it's not a good look and should be treated accordingly by everyone around him. By the way, who do we have around them? More beautiful gems. Yuno might not have the story as elaborate as Sasuke's, but he's a far better rival to the MC because of their previous connection, their dichotomy, and generally warm feelings towards each other. Yes, they get into some sibling-type fights. Still, they care about one another and want both of them to succeed. Next, we have Noelle, a great addition to the...
But you know what it sounds like? It sounds like you don't hate the show. It sounds like you're nitpicking reasons that everyone knows about Black Clover. You're talking about the obvious things that everyone knows that Black Clover struggles with. Look what you talked about. You talked about plagiarism. You talked about animation. You talked about the world. You talked about the main character. You talked about the magic system. You bullshitted your way through this video. That's all you did. You don't hate this show. You just wanted to make a video. You just wanted to highlight all the bad parts about Black Clover and pretend like you hate the show. That's what you did.
The team for reasons I've mentioned before. She is a royalty and comes with an appropriate package. She will have to perform a lot of self-improvement, not only to deal with her trauma, but to become a better person as a whole. I really liked the direction she went during their first assignment. Royalty is given all this mana to safeguard people, not to bring them further down. Then there is Yami, who's just awesome in almost every department, Black Bulls with their own struggles who welcome and support their newbies regardless, followed by stark contrast with Golden Dawn, where Yuno has to fight tooth and nail to get even a modicum of recognition. As for the grand plot, there is the conflict with the elves, devils, humans, other kingdoms. It's all very interesting to read about in forms of articles, but to actually watch it, I can't. My expectations just don't align with what I'm given at all. I've brought up many examples, a few more won't hurt. Yami and Asta's dialogue after Veto's defeat, which put a final nail in the coffin of my desire to continue watching. Our main character expresses sympathy and attempts to understand his enemy, while the captain, instead of contributing to his development and turning it into a mentorship moment, just laughs it off and tells Asta not to think too much about it. What?
It's like, bro, you can't be serious. That made you start watching Black Clover. Because that's not the person Yami is. Maybe you just don't get to the part where they talk about Yami's past. Where we get to learn more about Yami as a character. I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious you didn't get that far in this show because of the shit that you're talking about here. But there's the things that you hate. The things that are so much of a problem to you. If you just watch the show. If you just watch the anime. They all go away, I guess, man. Isn't that funny how that works, huh? You get the answers that you're looking for. If you just watch the anime, huh?
Just got a bunch of hints that these guys might not be some one-dimensional villains we thought they were, and you so casually shut it down? The potential at that moment was so great, yet you gave it the most generic, don't worry, follow your dream spin and turned it into some pathetic joke.
See, you know what would have been more crazy, right? If he actually did do that, because that's not the character Yami is. Yami doesn't do anything like that in the entire show. How do we first meet Yami? What does he say to Asta? Do you think he says, I see the potential in you? No, he's like, I like you. He's not a soft guy. He doesn't care about all that. He literally insults Asta the first time he sees him. That's the type of person Yami is. But those things are flying over your brain if you think he's going to make do something like this. It's okay, though.
Asta's hands are fucked up, he can't remove his blindfold, lol. I was so pissed that I almost didn't notice this moment. Kahuno's song. That was so good it made me sad, because the show clearly has the ability to make something beautiful, but it just doesn't. They keep giving me mediocre crap with simple dialogue and even simpler animation. Another plot development that infuriated me was what they did with Fugolion. This was one of the few fucking nobles who had something resembling a head on his shoulders and who gave good advice to both Asta and Noelle. What do they do to him? Remove him from the show for a good while. Who the fuck needs him? It could have been Dickface who lost his arm, the plot would have been mostly unaffected, and we...
Yeah, so there's no character development from him getting removed from the show. There's no significance from what happened. Yeah, of course there's not. Because you clearly didn't get there, buddy.
We would have had one more decent character in this bitch. Because he was the only person who gave this whole royalty some depth and served as a great tool to explore social issues highlighted in the show. Julius kinda does that, but he's the Wizard King. His situation is a bit different and doesn't suit this role as much. Lastly, I want to mention one more bane of my existence: fake out death. I already dislike when characters survive the most bullshit situations, and when you make it seem that they won't survive while they still do, it makes my blood boil, and I'm glad I never got this far. Also, don't even get me started on resurrecting people. Kabuto didn't bring as many back in Naruto as the elves did here. After listening to all this, you must...
So, you didn't watch the anime. You didn't watch the anime. I mean, it's okay. You watched it, but you didn't watch it. It's clear.
Be asking yourself a very reasonable question. Why would you watch 50 episodes of the show you claim to hate and then proceed to make this long-ass video? The short answer: I wanted to know what's up because I kept hearing so many good things about Black Clover. My first attempt at watching was out of pure curiosity. I didn't like it and stopped, nothing else to it. But on my second watch, I was determined to figure out what's going on. I just couldn't believe that this show is being praised so much when stuff like My Hero Aka gets a bunch of hate. Oh, it's generic, follows a lot of tropes. Have you seen Black Clover? It not only follows, it blatantly copies them. Oh, half the class say get no development. Sure, but it's compensated by one of the best villain evolutions.
Oh, bro, oh my goodness. I almost did something. I didn't even want to hear you finish that sentence, boy. I almost did something. We do not want your opinion on anime. Please. We do not want it. Because if you only hear good things about an anime and you get on YouTube and you complain about it, before you even get to the good things that you're hearing about, we don't want to hear your opinion. I don't want to hear your opinion. Your opinion is worth dirt to me. It's worth dirt. And then to bring up My Hero Academia, you're just digging your grave. You're digging your grave, buddy. Pack it up.
In recent years. I agree that Lich's story is cool, though we've seen all that in Naruto and to an extent in Bleach. Fuck, even Fairy Tail. As for Shigaraki, I can't think of another villain who went through as much progress as him. Geto is a
Okay, buddy, I'm gonna just let that slide. I'm gonna let it slide.
contender, except he was more of a hero who lived long enough to become a villain. By the way, the reason I drew comparison with My Hero is because they came out about the same time, not because I used the story of Midoriya as some frame of reference. If you watched any of my critique videos, you'd know that I try to stay objective, compare things to other shows, and support my arguments with examples. I needed to watch the show, at least give it a fair try, so I can create an adequate picture in my mind and be ready to defend my opinion. Yes, my standards are high. Though I do watch Demon Slayer and it doesn't make me feel sad. Yeah, a little upset at times cause fuck season 3. Still, my goal always is to understand the subject and express my own unbiased opinion while providing constructive arguments. It was I, Mahis, letting it all out into the microphone. Have a great whatever time of the day you have.
Let me explain to you what this guy did. I'm gonna explain it to you. Basically what he did was he watched 30% of the show, right? Got on YouTube and made a video complaining about everything he doesn't like about the show. When he doesn't know that 90% of the things that he's complaining about get resolved throughout the rest of the show. This is like me watching the first 3 arcs of One Piece, like I said earlier, then getting on YouTube complaining how One Piece is slow, complaining about how the characters aren't developed, complaining about the animation of One Piece. That's what you did. That's what you did. I just don't see how you anime niggas, right? I don't see how you can see how people are praising Black Clover, because you use that. You said that. You saw people were praising Black Clover, right? and you get to the 50th episode and you're like, that's enough for me. I've seen enough. Yeah, bro. You niggas got it. So you like the video? You'll like this one too. Go ahead and click on that. Yeah. You're still here? So you don't fuck with me? Alright, I'ma just